In this video, I'm going to show you the most important tips to know before going into the FNCS Open qualifiers and adding some additional insight into what the games are like by doing a play-by-play game analysis, as well as how you can improve your placement and how you can get more kills in the FNCS Open qualifiers. If you're starting your Open qualifier 10-game journey at starting time, which is usually around 7 p.m. CST, then this first game you're going to want to play really aggressive because everyone else is going to be playing aggressive and you're going to want to start to get as many kills as you can. As you move into the next games, you'll play a lot more passive. If you're starting slightly after the start time, let's say 7:10 or 7 p.m., then you're going to want to play your first games passive, playing for placement in FNCS. In FNCS, after you reach top 50 out of 100 players, and this is duo, so remember that 25 players remaining, you'll start to get exponential amounts of points. You'll get 2 points for every team that is eliminated, all the way up to top 10, where you'll start getting additional points. From 6th to 2nd place, you'll go up 4 points every team eliminated, an additional 9 points for a win, totaling about 65 points, and every elimination is plus 2 points. Now that we know how scoring works, we can get into the finer details of gameplay. Find a good drop spot that you can consistently get loot off spawn and where you can consistently survive off spawn so that you can make it into the end game. Now, if you strictly want to qualify for the second round, then you're going to want to camp and box up and fortify your base in each zone. So my teammate is TSM McBeef, and we rarely get into fights until the end of the game. This helped us get multiple placement points and end up with 270 points, with about 94% of those points being placement points. The FNCS tournament is very heavily placement point based, so you don't need to get as many kills as you think you would need. You just need placement points in this first round open qualifier. Now, a tip for staying alive and making it to the end game is to make sure that you have enough heals, preferably 3 slots of heals or 2 slots of heals and a rotation item, and then 2 guns that you're really good at using, like an SMG shotgun or an AR shotgun. Now, if you're good with a sniper, you can even substitute AR shotgun sniper and then 2 consumables. But do note that the Wings of Icarus in competitive are not as good because these players are a lot better, so you can be shot down very easily. Now let's get into the play-by-play in-game analysis. Okay, so now I'm going to be breaking down the thought process that we had in our last game. This was the game that was going to determine whether we got close to qualifying or whether we were really far away. And I'm just going to break it down real quick and go through decision making. Alright, so going into this game we had 216 points, and by the end of this game we have 270 points. So we earned a very substantial amount of points. You can see the player distribution on the map here, with Grim Gate being heavily contested, as well as the main line of the battle bus and the northern parts of the map, aside from the people going shoreline and the fence and fields area. We were pretty much uncontested except for this guy who then decides to go off on his own, but our drop spot was Brawler's Battleground, which, being uncontested, allowed us to get a lot of good loot. There is a mythical chest over here, and we were able to set ourselves up for success off the bat. And we are uncontested. My teammate is over here, and I am over here. And eventually we rotate through Brawler's Battleground to get the Ares medallion. There's also slurp barrels in this general area. So that allows for some good shield. Skipping a little later into the game, have 100, blue AR, blue pump, purple SMG, 6 minis, and a banana of the gods. So this is a pretty good loadout. And you can see me passing up the Wings of Icarus at this point, because even though it is good at rotation in these in-game situations, it can be not as good because people have a lot better aim. And I could definitely tell a difference going from the open qualifiers back into normal ranked mode. People are just not as good. A lot of this first half of the game is just farming up and finding substantially good loot, substantially better loot, so that we can try and have an upper hand in fights, and getting as much materials as we can, specifically metal, because there aren't as many other places on the map to get metal later on. Skipping ahead, we are rotating into Brawler's Battleground to try and get the medallion. We didn't know this at the time, but there's literally no one around us at all. But when going for a medallion, we do play very cautiously, just in case there's a third party in the area, because getting medallions takes a lot of noise, and it makes a lot of noise. So we have to be careful of the third parties. So at this point, we are starting to get additional points, because we have reached top 50 players. There's 44 players remaining in 24 teams. And we have also gotten the Brawler's Battleground medallion from Ares. And now we are planning how we're going to rotate in the zone. As you can see here, there are two teams right here. We don't know about that, but that is the direction that we are going to head, because there's a launch pad in this bay over here that allows for good rotation. You can see now that we are making our way to this housing area. I don't know what it's called. It's an unnamed POI. But there's two players here. One team, we don't know that they're here. My teammate is about to tell me that there are kids, that he hears them. And so we're getting ready to have the first fight of the game. My teammate goes through the door, notifies me that there are people in the building. So I step outside to check around. Turns out the kid is under the ramp. 3 shots with the auto shotgun just to take him out. And that kill is really huge for us. 2 extra points. His teammate runs and manages to get away, but we don't pursue that, even though he is decently low, because it's just not worth it in this last game. We really want those placement points, and those placement points are what matters. That team actually had really good loot, so we spent a decent amount of time looting and healing back up to full. So as you can see, we are on dead side of zone, pretty heavily dead side zone. We're hiding in a bush right now. Again, playing placement. Placement is what you need. Don't worry about camping. This is how you're going to get points. Unless you're Peterbot or a pro player, camping is going to be very helpful for you. Because if you can't get to endgame, if you can't make it to endgame, then you're not getting points, and what's the point of playing? So play endgame, focus on getting kills in-game, survive off spawn. Zone's moving in 10. We're gonna skip ahead a little bit. Zone is now moving in. There's a team ahead of us. We're trying to be as careful and as cautious getting into zone as we can. We have Flowberry Fizz for rotation, and McBeef has Flowberries. Be cautious on your mat count. Again, not taking fights or unnecessary shots that we don't need to be taking. There are 10 teams left, but 17 players. Luckily, this guy could not hit any snipes, so I didn't take any damage there. So now it's a very far pull, all the way up Mount Olympus, the POI. So we're going to have to go up a slight hill, and we'll watch here as we let it play out. Apparently I failed the edit there. Now rotating in such an open area is very dangerous, so be careful. I really thought I was going to get headshot sniped, because these players are good enough to headshot snipe you while you're moving. Couldn't get a good shot on that guy. But focusing on the rotation, not worrying about people around me. Generally, if you can just keep running and rotating, then you won't. You might get shot, you might take some damage, but if you're with your teammate and you're getting into zone, the storm is what's going to be your biggest threat, especially in these early moving zones. Another far pull from the storm. Keep an eye on your mat count and try and use as little amount of mats as you can, but don't be afraid to use all of them. We decided to get a slight early storm rotation so that we don't get caught in storm. We do end up getting separated here, and I managed to get ahead in zone. But I get cracked a lot. This is why it's good to play with your teammate and not go off on your own, but also, depending on the situation, to split apart from your teammate so that you can distract everybody else. Now my teammate McBeef has a good loadout and has good mats. He has 79 builds. And so he's just focusing on getting into zone and playing good rotation, not focusing on kills. When getting shot at, especially in your box, it's good to create space. And again, late zone, late moving zone, focus on getting to zone. People will shoot at you, but if you can just cover yourself and keep focusing on getting to zone, you probably won't be eliminated unless you have really low health, which is why it's good to keep shield and also quick access shield. There's 6 teams left with 8 players. He does get caught in storm, but he manages to build a box. McBeef is on controller. I'm pretty sure he gets caught here, and this might be the end for him. But we managed to get top 4 teams now, top 3 teams. We end up getting 3rd place. 3rd place is a lot of points, a lot of good points. And that's what I mean when I say play placement. We didn't fight hardly anybody that whole time, but we managed to get a lot of points. And these guys who won here got 299 points, which still was not enough to get them to qualifying. That's unfortunate for them. I'm pretty sure 304 points was the qualifying to get into the next round. It could have turned into more afterwards. So 2000th place was 305 points. So 305 points was the minimum you could have gotten to qualify. So keep that in mind for the next one. McBeef and I placed 5,978th, which is really good for us. I hope you did learn something from this video, listening to the play-by-play. And if you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're on the way to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm trying to get a support creator code. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.